Okay. Uh, so there's 5 or 6 of us, unless there's others who are floating. Yeah, so this is the first of these Gathering of Eagle broadcasts. Some of you, whether you're here now or you play this later, used to watch, I'm sure, our Circle Radio that I did with my chief. And they were really popular. This is going to be somewhat different, as Jerry and I are starting this one together, and we're going to cover whatever topics seem important at the moment. What are you looking for some resolution for? What kinds of things are distressing people? Today, we were going to start out with anxiety and stress because it seems to be about half of the questions I've been getting so far. And before we do that, we'll just introduce ourselves. I know those who are here now know us, or at least I think they do. Um, but again, for whoever, okay, I'm trying to watch this too in case people ask me how do I get in. But for those who listen to it later, first of all, there is a group we started on Facebook, the Gathering of Eagles. That's where we'll be posting everything. That's also where Jerry and I will be posting things that we don't post anywhere else. It's getting so many requests, so many different venues. Some things we'll still put out there. Others we'll have right in this one place. So if you're there, you can take advantage of them. You can ask us questions, whatever. And if not, you'll get the other ones the few that we put out there to everybody. We're just trying to understand how to do this since things are moving rapidly. Okay, quick intros. You want to go first? Go ahead.
Hello, I'm Jerry Maynard. I'm Menominee. I am from the Menominee tribe of Wisconsin. I also was given the honor and the responsibility of becoming a storyteller for the Hopi people, as well as carrying some of their teachings and their ceremonies, and being taught the ceremonies from them. Um, so with that, I'll move on. Pass it on to the next person. Pass it on to Jim.
Okay. Jim Graywolf Petruzzi. I am Romany Gypsy by DNA and Native American. I'm a member of United Western Lenape tribe back east. So I'm a mongrel, and my teachings come from numerous tribes. So we're going to try to combine what Jerry and I have, and if questions or areas come up that we're not particularly knowledgeable in, we were going to invite in some of our other elder friends to address them. So that's kind of where we're at. Any quick questions of us and who we are before we start? Okay, good. All right, and I'm just going to hit one other thing while we're here. Since one came in just before we began, and one came in last night, and that is when some people see me, no, I am not the reincarnation of Jerry Garcia. So let that go. I guess I have a resemblance more than I see. It comes up a lot. It's fun, but it's not true. Um, okay, so today's program. I think what we're going to do is we're going to dig into this a bit. I know Jerry will be triggered at some point to tell a story or two. And Jerry's being somewhat modest. He's definitely a master storyteller. He probably has more stories than anybody I know, and I know people with a lot of stories. So he's managed to really, um, he's a walking library of stories. Like I think I'm a walking library of bits and pieces of knowledge, which hopefully have value. Um, so that's where we're going to start this. And what I'm getting a lot of is they may not say anxiety. They may paint it as something else, but what they're really talking about is anxiety and stress. Almost all of the people who are asking me, it's driven by fear. There's one hell of a lot of fear out there, and not just here in the US, but globally. And we are connected globally. You know, like I have been through Standing Rock and things before it. There's so much confusion about what's going on. Why is it going on? Where is it going on? How is it going on? And why is it affecting me? Some people are denying if that's what's causing it. And hopefully we'll walk through some of these things today and maybe they can look at it. Maybe they can go a little deeper and understand why they're feeling this anxiety. Get a lot of people say, Jim, I can't even sleep anymore. I'm sleeping 2 hours a night. That's most often anxiety that'll do that when you're in a venue like we're in now. And then we're going to talk a bit about some of the means you can use to address that. Jerry and I both carry some spirit medicine, and we'll take a look at that. Those who know me or those who don't, everything I do is around nature. The shamanic medicine I was taught, and I've had a lot of elders as teachers of a lot of different cultures. I'm a bridge, I'm a mongrel, I have a little this and a little of that. But all of them made it clear to do any kind of healing, whether on yourself or on a community or on another, help them with it. You've got to be connected to nature. That's always the number one medicine in a true medicine person's bag, as I was taught. And it's certainly what I've experienced as I walk through life and do my work. Anything you want to add to that?
No. During this time, a lot of that anxiety is connected to all those things that we haven't dealt with, that we haven't faced, that we've held on and just kind of stuffed in a corner. We'll deal with that later, or it's too ugly, I don't want to deal with it. All those things are being brought to the surface, brought to the forefront, so we can face them, so we can go through them, and thus let them go. It's a cleansing process. The frequency and the vibration that we're moving into, there's no place for that there. So naturally, those things are going to come up because they have to come out, because they can't make that transition with us.
Yeah, good point. That might be a good starting point for the next piece. We also have the talking stick. So if you have a question at any point, do the raise hand thing. We might wait a bit before calling on you. We'll do it when there seems like a natural spot where it's a good time to bring in a question. If not, we'll get to them later too. Because this needs to be a participatory thing. And as we do these, I think we'll do them probably bi-weekly, although we haven't talked about that yet. I think bi-weekly is probably best. We want some of the topics to come from you all. We'll talk about that at the end today and ask you for input. And we want each one to be participatory because we can guess about what you're feeling. We can guess from what we're feeling because we're not exempt. We've been walking this a lot of years. Believe me, we're not exempt. Nobody is right now. Anybody who says he or she is, they're either fooling themselves or trying to fool others. And I don't say that in any meanness or judgment, but you have got to be feeling this. By the prophecies, we're in that time now that so many of the prophecies from so many tribes, and I don't mean just even our tribes here in the United States, but globally, have been talking about changing Earth. This time is the big one. This time we're going to decide whether as humans we stay or we leave. And it's really that simple. We're here for that purpose. By we're, I mean all of us. If you're here now when this is happening, there's a very real reason to be here. It might be what seems like a positive reason. It might be what seems like a negative reason. The reality is both things are happening now. So we can address, okay, what changes do we need? And what Jerry's talking about is we have to go inside and make changes. And we do. And we'll get back to that. Because then we see all around us the things that really need to be changed. We see things coming back that haven't been here for 100 years, that are hateful, that are spiteful, that are malignant. And we wonder why, and why some people are still following it. It's because of the change, this is the time of major change. And so, just like Jerry was saying, I recently went through another really difficult time inside. And one of the biggies is, especially if you've been doing this a while like I have, letting go of everything to this point in this life, in this walk. I know that sounds harsh. It can be difficult. But believe me, as you do it, you start to clear the decks. You're opening space for what's coming, for the positive things coming. And that's what we need to do. Some people or places that you're clearing away may reappear in a new fashion. Some won't. I'm 75 now, so I can focus back and look and think about the things I did when I was young. And those things don't exist anymore. And I've had to accept that. They're not going to exist in that way again either. Some things we cannot recreate the way they were. And maybe we shouldn't. It doesn't mean we can't recreate things. It doesn't mean there's incredible beauty and strength and power out there that we can tap into. It means we have to work with what we have now. And we have to do that collectively, together. It's not the time of the lone wolf. I've got one of my wolf people behind me, since wolf is my totem. But we can't be lone wolf anymore. I have been many times in the past. It won't work now. Anybody trying to do that is going to burn themselves out. So that's my first opening shtick on that part.
And we'll continue then with going around, letting the rest of you introduce yourselves. So whoever would like to speak next.
I couldn't tell if Sarah was speaking or not. I don't want to interrupt her.
I couldn't either. Sarah, were you talking?
No, I wasn't talking, but I'm
Okay.
talking now.
Okay, Sarah,
Yeah, my name's Sarah. I'm from Key Largo. What else do I say?
What are some of the reasons you wanted to come here tonight?
Um, I guess spiritual guidance and yeah.
Good place to start.
I've known Sarah for a while. She used to follow some of the radio shows before. So, Sarah, are you still working through things?
Yes, I'm trying to.
Good. Good. Remember Yoda. There is no try. We either do or we don't do.
Mm-hmm.
You have been doing. I watch you.
Yes.
Okay. Who's next? Are you done, Sarah? Sorry.
Yes, I am. Sorry.
No,
Mark? I saw you, Mark. Go ahead.
I am Mark. I'm living in Oregon. I'm from lots of places. And I got a charge when I saw your eagles about being here, and definitely felt that needed to be in the kinship of other medicine people. I carry the wisdom teachings of Andean medicine, and but I'm very, very open to all traditions and all wisdom. I look forward to continuing to learn on that path from all of you.
Great. Thank you. And Mark has a really good men's circle. He can maybe leave links later that I'm also part of, Jerry's part of, for men who want to get together. Because men are facing their own issues, just like women are. So it's for Jerry and I, we're working with everybody. That's our medicine. For others who feel like they have to sit with men to do things or women to get things done, please find those groups because they're really critical. Thanks, Mark. Edie, are you still there or is this just recording? Edie had a last minute emergency, so I think she's probably recording. And Edie's a friend, a great grandmother from up in Colorado. Edie is Japanese Hawaiian, so she brings in that medicine in a beautiful way. She's the one that really taught me the meaning and the depth of Ho'oponopono in the past. So even though you're not here at the moment, Edie, I can feel you. Probably correcting my pronunciation. Okay, let's see, where else? So let's work with this whole anxiety thing for a moment. How does it show itself? Well, one, it shows itself by lack of sleep that I already said. That's a big indicator of it, especially if it continues, especially if you try putting pharmaceuticals, or even herbs against it, and you're still not sleeping. That's a big indicator. if you feel part of my training by my mind family down in Central America, if you feel a kind of a tingling in your body, especially if it comes and goes here at the base of the skull, top of the spine, and I can tell you that a little more of that in a minute, that's a big indicator. That's another stop sign. Stop, take a look. If you meditate, exercise, if you do any of those things, those are good, but you're not going to get the full impact unless you add that piece of the puzzle, which is nature. And I'm going to keep saying it, and probably every show we ever do, I'll bring nature in at some point until you're tired of hearing it. But nature is the first medicine. That's what was there. For good or for ill, nature was there, and it's still there. So we'll give you some ways you can do that later. But even some of these things you're doing, comes Geo. Welcome, Geo. Even some of the things you're doing now, meditating, exercising, go outside and do them there. Nature doesn't mean you have to hike in somewhere for 6 hours before you sit down at a tree. You can go in your backyard. You can go down the street to a park. Is it better if you can really get out there and be isolated? I think so, but it's anywhere, absolutely anywhere. And I've had people as I work with them tell me they can't work in nature. They get too upset and too afraid. That's another piece we can look at in a bit. But for now, that's just some of the opening things. When people come to me and say, hey, Jim, can you work with me? It's the first thing I'll ask them, have you worked with nature and are you willing to work too? I actually have some people who don't work with me because they tell me they cannot work in nature. And while I feel bad to say it to them, my medicine's all around nature. So you're wasting your money and time and my time if we try to do it without that. Some try it and then come back, and I love that. That's awesome. Some get better at it than I am. That's even better. All right, so anything in there?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, let's pause for 1 minute. Let me pass the stick to Geo. Geo, we did quick intros and who people are and why they're here. Would you like to toss one in?
You're on mute still, Gio.
You must be on mute.
Okay, I'm unmuted now.
Yep.
Yeah, I am listening and I'm being inspired to go out and commune with the trees in my yard.
Very good.
Good.
Yes, I've been in front of a computer most of the day and I feel the call of the trees. So I think I will take the community here out to the trees with me.
Good. Perfect. I thought about that, but my signal up here is spotty, so I didn't do it,
Oh, yeah,
as you well know.
super good. Well, what have I missed so far?
Basically, we talked about you. Oh, no, sorry. We're just starting in, just explaining that this was going to be probably bi-weekly, I think we're going to do. We want some of the topics, if not most of them, to come from whoever shows up. In the last couple of days, we had 80-some people, I think, sign up for the group, which is awesome. It's growing fast. We will record them, I believe, unless we have a topic where people want to not have it recorded, and the majority thinks that, and then we'll follow that too. So today we're doing a little bit on anxiety, stress. What can we do with shamanic medicine to address it? Some stories by our master storyteller, and then some question and answer and what topics do people see we should dig into.
Okay. Well, I've got a couple, well, one topic in particular because I know like before this event I was looking at your website and the purpose that, is stated with your organization and such about like bringing, I think it says something about bringing communities together, and one of the problems that I see that would seem like would be right up your alley to solve is to to use one of the tools for creating a network so that people can actually like connect to the communities. Like I met, a gentleman at your house, um, and I tried to connect with him. I know he was having a baby and such, and he was like looking for, people to be part of his community in California. And there was just there's like no way to really and not like a really good way to connect. And so it just seems like that would be a good, you know, purpose and problem to solve that's kind of real in the world. We've got, young people and old people that, have, you know, looking for ways to, live in greater connection, like you say, to the earth. But like, how do you actually do it? And the network is one of those ways. So, anyways, that's a topic that I toss out there, and kind of along that same line too. The other thing that I hit with sharing, got inspired to share in the One True Calling Facebook page this past week was looking at a kind of a related effort. This group of people, I think they might be based in California, that are they're rolling out a new model of geodesic domes in a modular construction system, that is a really smart, kind of building model, and they're building homes now with it, and now I think they're taking initial orders for the geodesic dome, kits and such, and they got a real smart way of doing it. But anyways, yeah, that's kind of part of what interests me and what I would love to, to see more of, and particularly, like I said, like your organization, because that's like a very real way that people can, make something, you know, something that people really are looking for, and and there's a need for.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks. Let me just spend a minute on that. I hadn't thought about this part of it. What Gio's talking about is Sanctuaries of the Earth Mother. It's a nonprofit that I started with a number of people about 12 years ago. Came out of a vision I had many, many years ago. And now Jerry's part of it. We're both on the board. And so that is one big thing, and it ties into this. We're also here representing that organization. And this, what we do with a gathering of eagles, I think, is look how to resolve things. And we'll get back to that later, but that's a good thing. Like what Gio's talking about, we could probably do in the group. We can provide some connection pieces. What we're doing as an organization is creating community. We're doing exactly what he's talking about. And it's just starting, so there's a ton to do, but we've got a lot of different people and groups and organizations. It's funny because somebody reached out to Jerry last night, who we know, who's taking some big steps up in Oregon, up in your part of the world, Mark. And others are reaching out. You're talking about Jose. Gio.
Yes, Jose. Yeah, he's got
He's
beautiful
right in
property there in California, and he's like, he's like actively looking for people to, to come and to be part of it. He's got the resources. He just, seems like he's got his probably hands busy with, with a new baby and all that. Who knows what? But anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, they just didn't have a really good, way of connecting. And that's, like I said, it's a real need in the world, and probably a need that is growing more and more so as people face challenges with the shift in the economy and such. And there's so many resources. Like Airbnb was sort of built on that very similar concept. It's like people have resources and they just needed a network to connect those resources to who wanted to use those resources. You could call it the share economy, is one of the words that's used, but that's essentially what Airbnb was built on. And for better or worse, it just kind of morphed into a profit model, but doesn't have to be that way. Those tools are really available to anybody, and we got crazy people like Mark on the line here too, technology experts. So resources are there and available. Just so, anyways, I toss that out as my contribution to the conversation.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it back in too, because that won't be our primary function here for sure. Our function right now is solving problems, especially those that are coming up with all these huge changes. That doesn't mean we can't incorporate some other things. If people want to put things in the group and and connect that way. That's awesome. We hope to have a list of everybody who's part of this, just like we do of Sanctuaries of the Earth Mother. And we can do some of that too. And some people sometimes will grab hold of things and run with it. So that's also a good way. We're trying to get people squared away and feeling a little more in balance so they can do some of the work. And we were saying before you came on, Gio, including ourselves, we're certainly not exempt. I've been getting it again in a big way. Lately, it's kind of shifted, and I feel like I've gotten through that part of it. Will it come again? I don't know. But right now, it's mostly about this anxiety. A lot of it is caused because we do need to get rid of everything that's been there. If you clear your insides out and then clean out the stalls, you got room for all the new stuff that's coming. And since I've been walking quite a long time this time, I had a lot in there. And I'm actually now pretty much the only one left in my family. I have some cousins spread out somewhere, but I'm not really in touch with them. I have one sister who we talk on rare occasion lately, and that's about it. So what's important right now, the families we're creating. And these are healing families. And we are not the healers. Again, I know a lot of you know this, and you've certainly heard me say it. Jerry's probably new to some of this, although Jerry's people will be listening to this and I'll be new. We're definitely not healers. We are hollow bones, is my teaching. We can sometimes, if we're allowed, conduct the healing energy from the universe through us and into the situation. So if that makes us a healer, to me, it's because we're a great conduit. But I don't think we have, we can't wave a magic wand and somebody's healed. Never seen it happen. Maybe it does happen, but I've never seen it. But if we can be good conduits, that's enough for me. What do you think?
Yeah. And a lot of that anxiety, everything, there's a favorite teaching of mine that everything begins within. Whatever's happening out there in the world, it's how I perceive it. What I tell myself about what's going on in my own life, in the bigger world, it's those thoughts that create the emotions that lead to the anxiety. So that's what we have to start with. That's where we have to look first. We have to look at what is our perception of what's going on in our life? How are we handling that? What do those thoughts make us feel? And what do we do with those feelings? So personally, like Jim said, we're not immune. We go through this. My wife passed away in March. All the things that I didn't take care of and the grieving that I didn't do, it's been there. Every little piece that's inside that I didn't work through, it comes up. I mean, for days, it would just be literally just out of the blue. It would hit me, and the tears would start to flow, and I would just drop to my knees. And so it happened. It's there. And I'm going through it. I have to remember to look at it as a blessing, because I go through it so I can help understand for myself what I need to let go of, what's going on inside of me, what no longer serves me, that I've kept inside and not dealt with. But then also, as I go through it, I gain the knowledge and the wisdom of what needs to be done so that I can help someone else going through the same things.
Yeah, that's a good point there too. My elders used to teach me, several of them, not just one. And again, I've had a lot of different teachers from a lot of different cultures. When the teachings start to overlap, that's when I used to really pay attention. And one of them was that as we're challenged by these things, if you can take them the way that Jerry is and work with them constructively, even though there's pain, that doesn't mean the pain goes away. It doesn't. I still have pain from things that happened years and years ago. I'll probably always be there, but it's there not in a difficult way. It's there when I remember something. Okay, ouch, that hurts, but now I remember why, and then I can use it. But if we can say, what is that teaching me, and realize that's part of why it's there. if you're getting these things and going through these things and you're well aware of them, it's because you have the job to do on the other side that we're getting to now. I think we'll leave that for another show. But I really think we're starting to get through the bank, the far bank, when we're going to excise all of this negativity that's around us. And so at that point, we're going to need people to step up and start building. Some of us, like Jerry and I, me more so, and one's older than me, we're there to help guide in the beginning, to get it started, to get it going. And then it'll shift to the next generations, which actually is Mark and Geo, and then beyond them, and then down and down and down it goes. And that's really important, really important. For us, some of us, again, that have been doing this for a while, we understand some of these things are coming. I've had some horrific things come at me that caused a lot of stress and anxiety. It's not so much anymore, although it can still stress me out. The last couple of days, I've just got a tsunami of people coming at me. And I'm not sure why, in all positive way, but it's like, whoa, I can't handle all this. And I started really getting stressed out. In a good way, Jerry and I had to go run off to do some errands today because we're heading to a gathering this weekend to teach and learn. And so that broke the stress for me. But it's good to remember those things that happened. I've had people like Jerry pass suddenly, people close to me, a couple of times, a lot of them at one time. And it's really, we have to deal with it. We look at it, and either you let it sink you, or you say, okay, what am I supposed to learn? And can I do that? And what do I need to do that? Once again, I'm going to circle right back around and say nature. And I haven't known Gio that long, but we've been together several times now. I can feel in him that openness and ability to understand, oh, just going in nature can help. Doesn't matter what our walk is. Mark too. Mark's been connecting in different ways. And that's great. And I am too. I go deeper and deeper with it all the time. Just starting this group, right away I knew it was connected to eagles. And actually eagles and wolves. Eagles for me are the ones that are right way up here. You see far away, get an idea where you're going. The wolves ground you back down on the ground and allow you to do the work. So it's learning from, there's so many models in nature. I used to be part of Natural Leadership Way. We used to teach leadership through the functionings of a natural area. And boy, was that powerful. I think I learned much more than anybody I taught in that. But we all learned, so it was possible. So that's really good. Good thoughts. Any questions or anything? We'll take a pause here if you have any.
I got a quick drop in.
Yeah.
So I was meditating today just for a few moments on abundance, in nature. And what I was meditating on was like, I continually do get amazed, like when I look at, the source of everything. And so what I was meditating on today was like the sun, and how the sun, it's like infinite. It's like infinite energy. It's like infinite energy. It's like, and it's not like, it actually is, right? uh, but I don't know who was it saying, maybe Jerry was saying just about, our perception of things is, how we make sense of things, or, the stories that we tell ourselves. And so, I was having a moment of lack perception, and so I shifted to to what you say, like in nature. And so I was just imagining and seeing and just connecting with the sunlight, and how like I said, the sun is just like, I mean, there's like energy in everywhere, there's like abundance everywhere. And so anyways, that's just what I wanted to share about a moment of challenge that I was having today. And that's how I, well, particularly with abundance, because there's just a lot of crazy things going on right now. And like you said, things are shifting in a very real, what seems like a real way for a lot of people. Like people's way of, making a living is shifting and changing. And that's, that seems pretty real. But, I reached out in my mind, but also, well, mostly did it in my mind because I closed my eyes, but I'm just imagining, the incredible like abundance that comes, from the sun. And I was watching one of my friends online today to doing a similar thing, with the river, and she was like in nature in this really beautiful place. And she was doing a very similar thing. It's probably where I got the inspiration from. And she was like touching in the water and, just feeling how the abundance of the energy, as the water is moving along. And it's, it's metaphorical, but it's also real. So, um, yeah, that's what I got to share.
Good. Thank you. Is that triggering a story?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Mhm.
So we really planned this out ahead of time, like we always do. The last 5 minutes in the car before we pulled up to the house, we're like, okay, how do we start this? And here we are. So I just want to ask one question of Gio for what he just said. What's the shape of the sun, Gio?
Well, the way I perceive it and the way I was connecting to it is that it's like everywhere. It's like the energy. Yeah, you could, draw a picture of it or, see it as a dot in the sky, but truly it's like the energy of it is probably the greatest abundance you could possibly imagine because it's like everywhere.
Okay. And you're right, but physically it's a circle, and circle is everything. Um, my whole first book was around circles, and I'm thinking I may have to get that republished. I don't know. But anyway, I think we triggered a story, and I felt it as you were speaking in Jerry. So that's good. Why don't we take a pause? Everybody relax. Um, it's not the kumquat story, is it?
No.
Okay, good.
I want to hear the kumquat story though sometime.
Another day.
Okay.
So this story took place shortly after um, the waters receded at the end of the third world, beginning of the fourth. The people, there were amongst the people at this time, 4 old men. They had no responsibilities. For one was blind and could not see. One was getting deaf and was losing his hearing. Another was crippled. And the last was becoming very forgetful. Their families took care of them, so they had nothing to do. So they would come together each day and they would sit and enjoy each other's company. It was at such a time that as they gathered together, that something amazing and frightening began to happen. Even though it was close to the middle of the day, suddenly the sky began to go dark. The people didn't know what to make of this. They had never experienced an eclipse before. All they knew that this was the time of light. This was the time of daytime, and it was going away. Something was happening. The sun was covered. There was something blocking the sun. They didn't know what to do. It began to get darker and darker. People began to scream, cry, run around in a panic. The 4 old ones just continued to sit quietly together. Soon, even though it was the brightest part of the day, it was as dark as the darkest part of the night. You could still hear the whimpers and cries occasionally of those who were trembling in fear at this strange, unknown thing. Once again, the 4 old ones continued to sit together calmly, quietly. After a time, the sky began to grow light again. When that first ray of light reached down from the sun, it seemed to shine down, and it shone right on those 4 old ones. Suddenly, they were taken to a place beyond the imagination, beyond comprehension, and beyond words. In this place, they could see everything. They could see the past. They could see where they were now, and they could see the future. They could see the whole world and the whole universe around them. And they could comprehend and begin to understand how everything fit together in a way that was beyond words. In this place, a voice was speaking to them. This voice began to tell them who they were, explain the different teachings and understandings and the wisdoms for the world, the physical earth that they lived upon. This voice explained to them that they were to take these things back to the people. They were to give these teachings and these wisdoms and this insight to the all people. The voice said to them that they need not worry, for if they forget something, all they had to do was look around them. For all truth dwelt within nature. For every teaching, every wisdom, there was a living example in nature. Should they forget, all they had to do was return to nature and look around and see those examples living out before them. The voice explained to them that they would be known as elders, and people would come to them for these teachings, for these wisdoms, for these understandings. Suddenly they found themselves back in the village. Once again, it was bright. It was daylight out. There was no darkness. People were moving around. And when they saw that the four old ones had returned, they realized that something wonderful had happened. And then when the four old ones began to speak, they looked at them closer and they saw something wonderful indeed had happened, for their infirmities were gone. The one that was blind could see. The one that was crippled could walk. The one that was deaf could hear. The one that was forgetful, well, he seemed to be sharing the most. They began to share the teachings and the wisdoms to help guide us and help us live a good way on this earth. This is the story of the first elders and the teaching that all truth dwells in nature. And it was triggered by your words, Gio, and just by you. Your first thing you wanted to do is you wanted to go up by the tree. Your spirit felt that pull. And as my brother here says, that all these teachings, all these things that we'll be talking about is tied to nature. The story speaks of that. Those elder brothers and sisters, whether it be the finned ones that live in the waters, the ones that live on the four-leggeds that live on the land, whether it is the standing ones of the plant nations, or the winged ones that fly above us, they embody in how they live and how they act. They each embody a certain truth to remind us always of what's needed. And all we have to do is relax, breathe, center ourselves, sit within nature, ground ourselves once again. Let those fears that come from the mind, let them fade away. Let that love and that truth within nature and within our heart be our guide instead.
Oh,
Oh. Okay, I'll take the stick back. I think it'll be another show we'll do, but I'm getting a lot of comments. I did a short video after Jerry. I was doing the heart brain thing. For me, for years and years, I had a battle going on inside of me between my heart and my brain. And I started to understand it a few years ago and work on it and try to pull them together. And then Jerry pointed out that, and he was kind of alluding to it here, what we're heading into now is a time of spirit. Things will be led by spirit, which incorporates both heart and brain, but it won't be a heart or a brain. It'll be an incorporation through spirit. And I think that's exactly where we're headed. And I don't want to go down that road right now, but just everybody can think about that for another day. Mark, did I see your hand up?
I was just agreeing with you, brother.
Okay, good.
Oh, I was clapping, not raising my hand.
Oh, sorry. I'm pretty good at running these things, but techie stuff, as you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not my gig.
Is there anything you'd like to share, Mark?
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
good.
there's an Andean teaching about this whole stress response that has a really interesting parallel and crossover with modern neuroscience. Because the Andeans talked about right thinking, right feeling, right action. Right action is in the belly where you can't see my hand going here. But the way that the stress response works is you get locked into fight or flight mode. They study this in psychology, right? And if you live that way too long, it gets locked in the body, it becomes somatic. So it kind of resets your baseline to be in stress instead of to be calm. And so what the Indians did hundreds and hundreds of years ago is they had this way of decoupling where you would decouple your heart, your right feeling, and your belly, your right action. You break the link between those two and you recreate the link to the mother, to nature, right? So instead of being locked in your body, walking around being stressed out, you break that link and you relink yourself to the mother, which always has the perfect heartbeat and the perfect stress response, right? So, Jim, you said earlier you always pay attention when these teachings kind of overlap with each other. That's one of them that I think is almost universal. It's really get out of yourself and get into the mother, get into nature. And they just happen to have a protocol around doing that, right? But there's lots of ways to do that. So I just want to affirm what you brothers are saying. That's very near and dear to me because I do it to myself. I self decouple. And it's also something that I do working with clients is show them how to do it themselves. And also I can intervene and do it for them. And it's almost one of the things that you do as a preliminary step so that they could actually pay attention. Because it's really hard to go into an altered state of consciousness or go anywhere in your spirit if you're locked in your body, right? So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, no, that's good. And you're right. And it's now it's kind of an interesting situation we have. We have to come together collectively around the planet. And again, so many of the prophecies spoke to that and address things collectively because the majority of humans have been controlled and channeled by a very small minority through our whole existence. Now that has to open up and we have to share that. However, at the same time, we have to be doing what Mark and I know Gio talks about it, so do I. We have to be going in to also work there. So, and we got to be doing both. Some people were telling me, no, what we should be doing is working inside right now. No. If we save ourselves and lose the collective, what have we done? Others are saying, oh, all we can do is work in circle. Well, same thing. If we do that, but then lose all the individuals, what have we done? This is that time, as Jerry says, it's a time of spirit. Work in our spirit, feel it. And it's not always easy. The last couple of weeks, the stuff I was going through, wow, was racking my body up as well. And I do want to go into that physical part of it too for a bit, but something else for you here? Are you good? Yeah, I wasn't sure. I think I'll share right now that just quickly, I got a message a little while ago that was, this thing vibrates. I have the phone turned off for obvious reasons. Tom from up in Pine Ridge. Tom used to bring groups of people to listen to the shows, and he's back. They have an issue, and they usually have a little phone because their computer just doesn't work for SPID up on the reservation. Occasionally, they would go to the casino, which is the only really hot spot in the area. Something came up today, and they couldn't do it. So he was asking if this would be recorded, and he just wanted to say our energy is in there, and there was a group up with him. So, Tom, when you hear this, because they'll play this at some point, be welcome. I'm glad you're back, and say hello to everybody there. And hopefully I'll be up there for a visit before too long. So I just wanted to make sure I welcomed in that group as well. Yeah, somebody was talking earlier. I don't remember who. It doesn't really matter. It was probably you, Mark. The whole thing, this was stress for me a long time ago. When I really stepped up on this road, I was still kind of stuck between Western medicine and traditional medicine. Between the sky, in a lot of places, I was stuck. I had gotten away from religion. I didn't like some of what was going on there. So I was also kind of walking between religion and spirituality. I was walking in my own reality because my family said we were white Italian, except my grandmother who told the truth. And when I had DNA tests, she was right. I'm a mixed blood. So all those things were happening, which caused me great stress. And I was walking with my wife at the time who was going through cancer. And I got stuck exactly where Mark's talking about. Fight and flight became the norm. I would go through days at a time in fight and flight, which you're lucky if you survive it because it can literally just shut your heart down if it gets too hard. And I've seen it happen. I've had people I work with not make it because of it. And the thing that helped me then was, and I'm trying to remember which person it was. It might have been my good friend Tammy who pulled me back from the edge. It might have been Two Bears, my primary teacher, but it was simple, and you probably all heard it, but meditate, don't medicate. If you take too much stuff, medicines, especially pharmaceuticals, to deal with these things, all you're doing is lessening the pain. All you're doing is curing the pain, which is how Western medicine is set up, but you're not healing anything. Jerry spoke earlier about his wife left a few months ago. That's horrific. I've been there. I went through it. So I know what that is. And you have to feel it and you have to experience it. And that doesn't mean sometimes you have to take something, because if the pain gets so high, you can't do anything else. You can't function. You can't work on yourself because you can't stand the pain. I get it. Then you need something to bring it down some. But I would strongly suggest you try not to use pharmaceuticals. And we'll talk about different things as we do these shows that Jerry and I may use or our friends may use. And we're not telling anyone to do it. We're just saying it's a possibility. Yeah. But there are herbal remedies that help. And again, I suggest strongly, do not keep taking them, thinking, oh, pretty soon this is going to be done. That's old paradigm. Just lower the pain level to the point where you can function, where you can think and breathe and feel. Ask a friend, go out and hug that tree. I literally hug trees. And then I sit and I talk to them. And then Jerry and I were laughing the other night. Science once again is proving some of these amazing things. Did you know the roots of trees can actually talk to each other? And our people have known that for God knows how many generations. Or, these animals talk to each other in this way. Oh, really?
And they've proven now that on low level frequency, electromagnetically, all human minds, brains are connected in an electromagnetic spectrum. Oh, it means like we're all connected. We're all one. What a concept! It must be true now because they proved it.
Yeah, science proved it. It's good. And we're just kidding around. And there's nothing wrong with science proving things. Some people aren't at the place yet that can go beyond that. So at least if they see that, okay, science says this, and some won't accept things no matter who says it, which we're seeing on a daily basis. However it is. But if people go and take a look at some of the old teachings, you'll see things that are amazing. Don't worry about if it's been proven or not. If experience proves it out, to me, that's enough. I don't care if a microscope proves it out, or if I go talk to a caterpillar in the field, that proves it out. It's immaterial. Learning how to talk with them. We're going to do shows later too on talking to the plants, to the animals, plant communication, animal communication. It's also critical because believe me, they can help you in so many ways. I got 2 dogs here who are just amazing. One, Crystal, is now going to be 17 in a month or so. She was a rescue from Pine Ridge, and the doctors all said she'd be dead in 24 hours. They said that 17 years ago. And she's here to teach, to heal. Some of you helped in this last go around because it got expensive. And I really appreciate that because we are all one. It doesn't matter how many legs we're on, how many wings we have coming out of our back. It's all one. The DNA is so connected. Oh, that's another thing they proved. The DNA between, I'm not sure if I have this right, you guys can check me out. Trees, I think trees and animals, including humans, are like 90% the same. Then there's 10% different. So it's that building block of the universe is basically the same here. What is it elsewhere? I don't know. Anybody that thinks this is the only life in the universe, someday we'll have a long talk, but not now. Where's that thing? Chat. I wanted to bring this up too, okay? To bring this up. I want to bring this up. Who put it in there? Mark, okay. Yeah, let's go into this. I'd like to work on this another time too. I've had my elders work with me quite a bit, and I've come up with my own model. And Mark's bringing up mind, body, and spirit. He's absolutely right. However, that's only part of the prescription. It does not encompass enough or all things, the way I was taught. And most of this was by some teachers in the jungles in Central America when I was down there a lot in the 90s. Mind, body, spirit, yes. Emotions. And some of these people argue, well, they're already in this. Are they? Or do we have to, when you're trying to adjust yourself, if you just look mind, body, spirit, you're missing things. Emotions is a big one. Sexuality is another big one. What do we feel ours is, and how do we use it? Are we comfortable with it? Dreams. The dreams I got from my Aboriginal friends. I had some Aboriginal friends come when I was up at the university in Colorado to do a talk. I welcomed them up for the organization I ran there. And they wanted to know if they could stay a little while and do some things. And I said, sure. And a year and a half later, they went home. So I've learned a lot from them. It was great. They're very into dreams. To them, the dream is the reality. When we're awake and doing things, we're only acting out what we created in dreams. And then the last one is that composite. That's the piece I think Jerry's talking to, which I only got yesterday when he spoke. That is the completion, the gestalt, the whole thing. That's where all the pieces are together. That's the spirit. So he shifted a model that I've been carrying around for, I don't know how many years, a long time. But think about that. Maybe you have other pieces you want to put in there. And again, we could do a lot more in this someday. I look at all of those things. I visualize, you can do it a lot of ways. I visualize different gauges and I look to see, okay, where's that one today? And my balance may be very different than Mark's or Jerry's or Gio's or anybody else. It doesn't matter. We work in our own balance. And I can see when something's out of balance. And then that's where I know I have to put some energy. Not some drugs, but some energy. Thanks for that, Mark, for triggering that. Appreciate it. That's a good one. Ooh, okay.
And that's something that we'll go over too, is a teaching that I'd like to share later on in one of these episodes is the Hopi have teaching called the 4 parts of self. And how to integrate all four of those parts so they work in harmony. So they bring harmony within us. Bring us to a place of peace. Because oftentimes, I mean, in today's world, most of those 4 parts are autonomic because people don't think about them, don't even know they exist. And so we don't know how this one is over here, this one's over there. There are all these different priorities and ideals that are conflicting within us that we're not even aware of. and we got to get those all working together.
Yeah. You know, that's bringing up a good piece too, Jer. We've learned a lot. We've spent years and years, I've spent decades learning some of this stuff. So I kind of feel like a library. But I figure in the whole and everything, maybe I know that much. Maybe less, a tiny bit. So we'll share our pieces. I've already had a couple people reach out and say, hey, could I ever open a discussion on the show about whatever? A friend in India wanted to bring in some of their, and I don't have any problem with that at all. I'd welcome it. So I think we'll bring in other ways as well, because each one has part of the answer. Nobody has it all. I really try to run away from people who tell me they have all the answers, whether they're spiritual people or healers or healing guides, or certainly if they're political people. I get the hell out of their way and block them off. Go ahead, Mark. This time it's not a clapping hand, I can tell.
Yeah. I thought I would bring in a funny quote from the Dalai Lama. Some brainless reporter asked him a dumb question indicating his, high achievement in spirituality, and asked him to respond. And he said, "All I will claim is that when I was young, I knew that there was a mountain, and now I know where it is."
Yep, good.
Yeah.
It's true.
Mhm.
Yeah. And that's a good one for the teaching too, especially in healing. And if it's stress related and anxiety related, I find it's really true. There's no destination. It's never going to be totally gone. This life is about a journey, or lives, as my way is, and maybe some of you. It's a journey. There's stopping points along the way. There's places we reach where we do something, or as your thing says, Mark, okay, now you know where it is. But as soon as you think you've reached a destination, then what's the point? What do you do from there? Why are you there? Why are you here? And so when I was younger, I thought, oh yeah, if I work really hard, I'm going to get where I'm supposed to be. Yeah. Well, a lot of places in between, and I don't know what that place is because it doesn't exist. So yeah, I like that quote. That's a good one.
Sticking to the theme of why we gathered. Another thing from the Dalai Lama story I heard was that this mother brought her young boy to the Dalai Lama when he was out in the public. And she said, "Master, you have to help me. My son is eating all kinds of sweets, and it's wrecking his body. It's wrecking it's destroying his teeth, and he just will not stop eating sweets. I need you to help him. I need you to tell him to stop doing that." The Dalai Lama smiled and said, "Yes, I will definitely do that. Meet me back here next week." So the woman walked away puzzled. But the week passed and she came back, and the Dalai Lama approached the young boy, got down on his level and held his hand and said, "Do not eat sweets. They are very bad for you." Then smiled and stood up, turned to the lady and nodded his head. And she said, "That's it? That's what I waited a week for? Why did I have to wait a week for you to tell him that?" The Dalai Lama smiled and looked at her and said, "Because a week ago I was eating sweets."
Yeah. Yeah.
So we come together. We come together to talk about how we are going through these struggles together and what we do to help us and what those small things may help others also. It's a community. We do it as one, and we heal as one.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. And the more we can do that, the more we are able to come together in unity. And we're starting to see it now. I know some meetings I've been in, both virtually and physically. There's people that have showed up with various walks of life and opinions and political expressions, and yet they're able to stand there and talk together more than I've ever seen. And that's a good thing. We don't have to do this in the same way. Actually, if we are, we accomplish nothing. You know, if you have a cookie cutter and we're all the same, then there's nothing to advance. There's nothing to learn. So bringing together our parts, and then we see what the outliers are. And it's like, okay, now those are the things we have to work on. Staying, you're right though, with the theme, anxiety, stress. It's making me very anxious to see where we go with this next. Oh no, just kidding. Part of a teaching I got a lot of years ago, at least 30 years ago now. Wow, it's unbelievable. I look in the mirror now, or I look on the screen and I go, who the hell's that old guy? Anyway, they were a mixed group of Mayan and Garifuna people. Garifuna were the people from Africa. And this was in Belize, where I spent a lot of time. And that family adopted me. And that was this part where I told you, if you really feel stress here, and most people I talk to, they feel it sometime. In that culture's expression, that's the extra chakra. That's the 8th chakra right there. And in their teachings, what we see with the eye, the third eye, it's not interpreted. This is a camera. It's taking pictures, snapshots, pictures, backwards, forwards, all these pictures. And then it's sending it through your system, up through the crown and the crown chakra, where it starts to get, if there's replication, some of it gets thrown away, but then the rest of it gets sent back. And where the real work on it is done, where the real understanding comes, is in this 8th chakra. And that's connected directly to above and below, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the universe, God, whatever you want to, whatever labels you use. Labels don't have much meaning for me. And that's where the real work is done. And that's why, too, if something's coming back there that is confusing or fearful or giving you start to feel it right there first. And I know I always have, long before I learned this, before my family down there taught me this piece. So it's always good to work there, too. You don't always have to meditate out of your heart or your mind. I always suggest you don't meditate or journey. We'll do something on journeying one time, too, out of your head, because it knows fear comes from the brain, not the heart. And that's part of its job. And it's a good thing it does it, so we don't get run over by a truck. But to really open up to these things, you got to get into the heart. But you can also go back here and feel it back there. Or as Mark said earlier, you can't see the hand, your gut. The real sense of feeling is in the gut, not the heart. The heart is the romantic representation of it. So, what else with that? Something came to me. Or did I feel something coming from one of you?
Okay, I got to drop in.
Dropping in, go ahead, you got the stick.
I just got to tell you guys, Jim and Jerry, that I just think you guys make great hosts together. Yeah, you guys are great hosts together. So I don't know where I don't know where your show will go, but I just got to tell you, I think you guys do a great job hosting together.
Thank you.
And your wolf background is amazing. I know you're probably going to you can laugh at me when I say this, but well, I'm just going to say it because, well, you know, I grew up. You've heard that I grew up in an entrepreneurial family, so that's usually where my thinking goes, you know. And this could be like totally off, and it'd be like no, but I saw one of the brothers today, one of your brothers from up in Sedona. I don't know. His name is going to come back to me here in a minute. So I believe it's a Dine brother, and he's a drum maker, and he was showing his drums kind of QVC style. You know, he makes these beautiful drums, and he was showing them, and you know, they're available to be purchased. He's quite bold in his pricing, which I appreciate that. But anyways, I just got to drop that in because, you know, as I was, you know, listening to this whole thing kind of queuing up and your ideas for it queuing up, that's a little bit where my mind went, because I know particularly with the Native American, you know, jewelry and crafts. I mean, I don't have a lot. It's not like I'm a big collector, but I've got a few pieces that I just treasure. And so I don't know if you'd ever would consider that to be part of your show, because it could easily be so. You know, you if you wanted to, you know, it could be.
Yeah, he's made drums for us. He actually made some drums last year. We got 3 white buffalo drums here, and he's the one
Oh,
who made.
okay. Yeah.
I've done them for years. Yeah, I doubt that would be part of the show here, but you never know.
Yeah,
However,
you never.
Jerry and I are here. Jerry and I knew each other years ago, and not real well. We knew each other from gatherings of ancestors and various events and things, but we walked in the same circles here, but never really connected too much until recently. And all of that is as it's meant to happen. So I've said it on your show, Gio. Really pay attention to those from the past who reappear, and also those new ones who show up. Because anybody right now, there's a reason they're there, for sure. I mean, there's no time to waste space right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's just like I said, kind of like where my mind goes, and it's not just on entrepreneurial things, but I guess my mind goes mostly to places of purpose. And you know, sometimes the purpose is not like a logical purpose per se, but I guess there is some thought behind it.
Mhm.
You know, and where my mind is going a little bit right now, my daughter is working doing land conservation work on native managed lands up in the Pacific Northwest right now. And so, you know, just things like that. It's like things of purpose, things that, you know, have purpose to them. That's what inspires me. I think it inspires people in general too, because, you know, I've helped many people start shows like this and have, you know, seen many shows come and go. And the ones that, you know, the ones that stay have a purpose to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know that's part of the exploration today. So, you know,
Yeah, no,
I just drop that in and, you know, share that thought, you know.
yeah, no, you're right. And Jerry and I are here, and we'll say that, and we have said it, and we'll put it in the group as well. For those who do want to go deeper, we do. We both take on clients, or sometimes we do it together. Because it's funny, although Geo, I've walked from it pretty much. My whole background is entrepreneurial too. There was a time I had over 70 businesses going with a partner, in a lot of different types, not just one. And that was our business model. And we kept it going for a number of years until I realized I was missing too much of life. And I started to back off, and went into nonprofit work. And then I was walking the spirit road. So I get it. And that doesn't mean there's not a place for it in spirituality. There is. There's a lot of things we're being asked to do now. And trying to figure out how to do half of them has been a problem. And we need to move into a space of abundance. And I've been on your shows, and you and I have gotten together, and I'm sure you'll be back. And I've gotten a lot out of you, because some of those things needed to rekindle in me. They're not
Yes.
bad or wrong. I just didn't need them for a while.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, what you're saying kind of inspires me, you know, just to drop in with this, which is the notion to, you know, replace the concept of, you know, of business or entrepreneurial with purpose.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's right.
Purpose. Because
Yep.
purpose is what causes people to want to be involved with something. It's the glue that draws people together. And I think that, what we call, this is just how I relate to it. And I'm fortunate this way because you probably heard, I grew up in a candy store. And so to me, business and having fun are synonymous. I don't separate the two.
No.
And, life and business and having fun are all one thing to me.
Mhm.
I don't separate those. And so I probably, I probably work, technically, right, work, quote unquote, many more hours than a lot of people do, but it's not work to me because what I enjoy doing. And I know that, people get attracted to it because I pay attention. This is my thing about the purpose side is I pay attention and try to have an ear to what people need help with. And that, kind of beckons back to the candy store, as unhealthy as the candy is, you know, but our store was in a campground and candy was one of the things that we sold. We were the only store. We on the edge of a lake in central Connecticut, actually in Mohawk land. It's called Lake Warmog, long lake. And yeah, so it just all kind of, like I said, kind of connects back. That's what I drop in with the notion of, well, what do people need? What do people want? I know with me, I just have to say, I've always appreciated the moments that I have had the opportunity to be in and around, um, people like Jerry and other Native Americans because I don't know that much, and to me, it's a treasure whenever I get the opportunity, and I just see that as a purpose. I know I'm not the only one that, the only white person or non-white person, whatever it is, that has an interest in your culture. And, Hopi is different from, Dine is different from, other ones that you've mentioned. So just this exploration into culture and through story and, the craft and the selling is part of it too. So I think you could potentially mix a lot of things together. The healing could be part of it too. You could have shows about healing.
The yeah, the goal is not to come up with some big game plan, but to allow it to evolve.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
We'll keep doing it.
I
It'll be
appreciate that.
yeah, work. I'm sure we needs it. That's why we're here.
Mhm.
I do like the part you bring up, having fun. It's really critical, especially now. And when you're feeling fear, anxiety, stress, have some fun, chill, relax, do something that makes you feel good.
Yeah,
It does.
that's why I'm
It
out
does.
here hanging with the tree right now.
Yeah, that's right. That's good. And don't worry about what other people say. You know, I've had people point fingers my whole life. A lot of us have. Let them point their fingers because they don't know the old teaching. One finger pointing out is three fingers pointing back. They don't realize they're dealing with their own stuff, and maybe that'll help them. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe.
One of the things I really resonate too with what you're saying about, just allowing the way to be revealed. But I also heard you, saying in terms of, prophecy or, yeah, prophecy saying, or the words that you put out being, it's a time to, the way I would say it, to bring the logical and the non-logical together. And those are cultural things too, aren't they?
Well,
You
yeah,
know,
sure. You
and
know,
and I really believe that, and I for myself personally, I tread that space between logical and non-logical.
yeah. I'm gonna pull it back into the whole function of this circle though too.
All
But
right.
you're right. One thing on prophecy. It's not like prophecy is there and written in the book, and that's the way it's coming.
Yeah.
There are teachings that kind of guide us. And again, where there's a crossover, and I've worked with enough cultures where I see prophecies that are very similar, they're the ones I really pay attention to
Mhm.
because that's power. That means early on, there was some connection in the truths that they all saw. And they're the ones that tend to come about. It doesn't mean like, I'm trying to think of one, the white buffalo. It doesn't mean you see one white buffalo and the world's going to change. No, that wasn't the point. If it was, we missed it, because they're coming and going, but we're seeing more of them, and they're massing up. I think, though, getting back to, again, if you want to talk to either of us or both of us, anybody who hears this, feel free, connect with us. You can personal message us through the group. And the group we have on Facebook is A Gathering of Eagles. You can find us. When I post this up, I'll put some links as well.
Is that where you're broadcasting to right now, to that group?
Nope, we're just right here right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
We just record this one.
Okay.
We may stream some things later, but we wanted to get this one in the pot because this wanted to be just a general brainstorming. But we're getting so much questions about stress, fear, confusion, that I thought we'd focus a little on that, and then also be gathering information. And then, of course, nobody could get on for some people couldn't get on, some did. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah.
What else?
Continue to share your suggestions.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to go over what everyone would like to hear. If there's something that you would like to hear, that you would like to go in deeper on, get a bit deeper understanding, let us know, everyone, because this is not just our show.
Yeah.
This is a community. We're doing this together.
That's the biggest takeaway here today. I think you're right. And we'll make sure when we put this in the group, we'll have some place where we can capture all that better. We also want everybody in the group, we would like their email addresses. We'll put that up there too. So we can get the communication going, like Gio was talking earlier. I get a ton lately, and I'm still trying to work through it. And folks, if I'm missing the point, or Jerry, or both of us, because we're doing a lot of this stuff together, but we have different functions and different roles. Asking questions, asking to record things. Now I know we're going to get questions for us to record things either together or one or the other of us to get it up there to help to teach. And that's great. And we're getting a huge number of, or I am, friend requests and questions. And that's great. I sure can't do a lot of this one-on-one. It's becoming consuming. So going this way in group is the way to go. And we'll do it the same way. As we look at these things, if we see the same topic or question multiple times, to me, that goes to the top, one of the top of the list. And we do triage. And we said earlier, and I'll repeat it, if you hit topics we're not adept in, between us, we have a fair amount. We have a lot of friends who will come on and take the lead, and we'll sit with them. There's no leader. This is a circle. Whoever's taking the lead at that point can stand up and lead that piece of it. And when they're done, they sit down. And believe me, I'm just as comfortable, maybe more so, sitting down and letting somebody else take the lead. When I know the stuff, fine. When somebody else knows it, I'll ask them to stand up and I'll sit there and be quiet. Will
there be music?
Absolutely. We were going to do it today, but not enough people came. Jerry was going to dance, and I was going to sing, and that was the end of this group day one.
Yeah, well, I asked that question a little bit because one of the broadcasts that was enormously successful happened with a church that I ended up connecting with, and now I'm connected to the entire community in Central California, in San Luis Obispo, and it's a Science of Mind church, New Thought church. And anyways, they popped up with a gathering like this, kind of just like a support group, because everybody's locked down, and then the church, of course, was locked down, and they really took the initiative to to really bring people together. So they had the Sunday service, and one of the things that made the Sunday service so amazing is that you really can bring in musicians from, all over the country, all over the world. You can bring, people who truly are experts. I just have to give voice to my own personal take on this, is I really do believe in leadership. And, I believe that we're all equal under God, and yet people have expertise in certain areas, so people are expert healers. People are expert in, think matters of the mind and psychology and music and all these different things. So your show, can be a platform that can bring people together from anywhere.
And we do get people who bring in those elements periodically. A woman who's been part of our Standing Rock from our Water Protectors group for years, and she's a wonderful singer and she plays a lot of instruments. And she's working with the tribes down in the Amazon and their water. So suddenly she's there. She may be on. So it may be part of a show. Who knows?
I love it.
We just want to stay open to whatever at this point. And I think we need to wrap it up soon. Yeah, we're going to
All right,
wrap
guys.
this.
All right, guys. Well, good to see you guys. Keep on going. I'll
See you
spread the
soon.
word.
Okay,
Thank you.
good. Oops. No. Okay, thank you, everybody. It's just Jerry and I left now. Let me clear this. I don't need to. It's just Jerry and I left now. We want to thank you for those who play this. We'll be doing another one in a couple of weeks. We'll make sure we put things up ahead of time. And I'll take a better look at Zoom, since Zoom is becoming problematic, apparently.
And send in your suggestions.
Yes.
Send in what you would like to hear talked about.
Yes.
And if you have something that you want to share, send all those things in. You are part of this.
True. And go to Facebook if you want to be part of the discussion, and look for a gathering of Eagles. I'll put the link up online and join us. People are coming in pretty fast, so I think it's going to have a good diversity of people. Come add your voice. Love you guys. Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you, Jim.
And another day we will absolutely do soaring like a kumquat. For those who missed the beginning, you don't know what we're talking about. Much love all.